Pray in the name of Jesus that as we are starting, help us, give us understanding. Let your spirit that brings clarity rest on each and every one of us. In Jesus' mighty name we have prayed. Amen.
Amen.
Tonight we are going to be talking about, I have two sessions. Okay, Benjamin's friend, Portia. That's interesting. Nice to meet you, Portia. We have two topics we are going to look at because we are doing everything we are doing is in 4 parts. And with the first day we did the introduction where we gave an overview of every single thing that we are going to be looking at within the course of this week. And then yesterday we looked at confronting conformations, and then we were able to address certain key issues, the self-imposed prisons. We looked at the levels of thinking. We spoke about self-awareness and the essence reason why we have to be conscious about who we are. I today want to talk about rewriting your script, where we are going to talk about visions, purpose, success. We are going to look at creating systems, daily systems and daily things that enable you to live your life to the best that you can possibly live or attain. Then we will look at dichotomy of fear, friend or foe, where we are going to address what fear actually means, how we interpret fears. One of the things you are also going to understand is the 3 dimensions that fear presents itself through. Fear is not one dimensional, it is multi-dimensional. And so we are also going to look at the different dimensions that we experience fear and how to attack certain fears in our lives. And then we can call it a night. And so, yeah, we let's dive deep into it. We have a few things to go, and we are already 10 minutes behind time. The first thing I am going to be talking about rewriting your script is I want to make you understand that success is for everyone. Every and anyone can succeed. Please, as first of all, accept it in your mind and in your spirit that you can succeed. By the time I am done explaining how and why I am saying you can succeed, then you understand that indeed everyone can succeed, because success is for everyone. It is not a selected few who have been blessed to succeed, but anyone, anywhere can actually succeed. And there are 3 keys to understanding how success is for everyone. The first one is that success is knowing my purpose in life. The second key is growing to my maximum potential is success. And then the third key is sowing seeds that benefit others. So these are the 3 keys to success. The first one is knowing your purpose in life. And I explain knowing your purpose in life to mean, you see, every single thing that has been created was created to solve a problem. I want you to do an exercise right now. Just look around you, wherever you are. Look at the devices around you, look at the items around you, the chair, the table. That's if you're sitting on the desk, a book. Look at the TV remote, look at even the TV itself, the fan. Every single thing, when you look around you, was created to solve a problem. There is nothing that has been created for the sake of being created. And that includes you as well. You have to understand that you have been created to solve a problem. And if you understand that you were created to solve a problem, then that is your purpose. Imagine it this way, that that cannot, God doesn't do anything in a vacuum. God has a reason to do any and everything he does is backed by a reason. And so if we men, everything around you was created by a man. Your mobile phone was created by a man. This cup was created by a man. My spoon here, the microphone I'm using, my spectacles, the laptop, the table, the chair I'm sitting on was created by man. And it was created by man to solve a problem. And if man created these things to solve problems, why then do you think God created you and does not want you to solve any problem? It means that God created you with the intention that you solve problems. Do you understand me so far? So if you know and understand this, then you would know and understand that there is a purpose for your life. The biggest problem for most people is that they don't know how they can find that purpose. They don't know how to go about it. And so one of the things that this session is going to help you come into understanding of is to understand that indeed you have been created for a purpose. And your purpose is in the problem that you were created to solve. And you can solve that problem by growing to your maximum potential. Every other thing else that was created by God grows to its maximum potential, except for human beings. When you ask a tree, how high can a tree grow? A tree would grow to its highest until it dies. When you ask an animal, except that animal is killed, but if that animal is in its natural inhabitants, it will grow to its maximum potential. The only set of people or the only set of creation that are unable to grow to meet their maximum potentials are human beings. And then the next key is growing or sowing seeds that benefit others. Your ability to live beyond yourself, that you are sowing seeds in the life of other people. And so these are the three keys that leads to success. If you understand these three keys, you would know that any one of you, anywhere you are, you can actually succeed. And then success is not for a selected few people. Reason why I am also starting with this is because when you understand that success is for you, when you understand that you have been created to solve a problem, what it will do to you is that you will now become intentional about the things you do daily, and that you are not just living blindly. You are not just assuming that you are living the life that you have to live, but rather you will do something daily, knowing that at the end of your life, you've been created to solve a problem, and that you can solve that problem by growing to your maximum potential, and also through sowing seeds that benefit others. It is very, very important, because if you don't understand these three things, vision would not mean anything to you. Having good habits would not mean anything to you. Creating systems would not, or having goals in your life would not mean anything to you, because at the back of your mind you think you are having goals just for yourself. But if you understand that at the end of your life, it is what you give out and not what you, there is no one, in fact, look through history, there is nobody who is being remembered and celebrated for what they had. People are only celebrated for what they had. I'm saying it again. No one in life is remembered by what they had, but rather what they had. You can talk about Jesus Christ, you can talk about Nelson Mandela, you can talk about Mahatma Gandhi, you can talk about any person that you think about, that you celebrate, that you honor, that you respect. You celebrate, you honor, you respect them because they added something. They were not just interested in themselves, but they tried to pass something on. If you understand these three keys, then success is for you and you can succeed. It doesn't matter what you do, you can succeed. So it is very important that we understand this. How do you know your purpose? one of the most painful thing I see is a group of people, especially in our days, who are living life and they don't have anything they are offering. They are just consuming, either consuming social media, consuming food, they go to church, and they are not living out their purpose. And this is, I tell you, one of the most important answers you would find. I heard this quote once. I don't know who to attribute it to, but he said this, that there are only two important days in the life of anyone. There are only two important days in the life of anyone. The first day is the day you are born. The second day is the day you find out why. These are the most important days in your life. The day you are born and the day you find out why. Are you all here? The two most important days in your life is the day you are born. The second is the day you find out why. And so, how do I know what my purpose is? Number one, what do I desire? What are the things you desire in life? Number two, what are my talents and my gifts? And these questions, I will beg of you to actually answer them. What are my opportunities? The fourth one, which is also very important, a very important question, is what cause, or what would it be if there were a worthy cause you'd be willing to give your life for? Most times when you hear people talk about purpose, they are talking about what can you live for, what can you live for. But I think one of the best ways you can find out what your purpose is to find out what you can die for. What are you willing to die for? That is one of the most important ways you can discover your purpose. Methuselah, in the Bible, he lived for 969 years. All we know about Methuselah is his age, who he gave birth to, and when he died. Jesus Christ lived for only 30 years, and the world has still not recovered because he found something worthy enough to give his life for. So, one of the best ways you can find what your purpose is to find what you are willing to give your life for. What cause? If there were three causes in this world: poverty, mindset, and maybe feeding people. If you are given these three options, then they ask you, what are you willing to give your life for? What cause will you give your life for? That is a way to know what your purpose is. And then the last question to really discover how to know your purpose is, is there anything you would want to change in the world for the better? Imagine it this way, that you sleep one day and God appears to you in your vision, and God tells you that I am giving you all the power in this world. I am giving you every single power, ability to do anything in this world, but you have to choose only one thing to do. What will you do? Imagine it this way. You had all the power there is to have, all the influence, all the ability, every single thing there is to have. But you can only change one thing. What will you change? For me, I know I would change the mindsets of people. If I had all the power in the world, I would change people's mindset. Because my greatest pain in life came as a result of my thinking and my mindset. Yesterday we spoke about the self-imposed prisons and all those things. If I could change only one thing in this world, it will be change the mindset. It will be to change the mindsets of people. That is your way of finding out what your purpose is. That. So have these questions anytime you are thinking about your purpose. Have these questions. How do I know what I was created for? What do I desire? What are my talents and my gifts? What are the opportunities that are available for me? If there were a worthy cause to give my life for, what would it be? And if there is only one thing I could change in this world, what would I want to change? I know for some of you it would be to help people make money. I know for some of you it would be to give people skills, or it doesn't matter what it is. If you can change it, then your purpose is in that thing. Please, do we understand? Are you with me so far before we continue? Can I get your feedbacks, guys? Okay, Israel says yes. I know
Yes,
he's not the
please, we are
only one.
following.
Okay. Lucky says yes. Jackie, good to see you. Zane. Okay. I can continue then. How do I grow to my maximum potential? Remember, we are still talking about the 3 keys to success. I said the 3 keys that enables you to succeed in life is one, finding your purpose. And we are speaking about purpose. Number 2, grow to your maximum potential. And so, how do you grow to your maximum potential? Number 1, concentrate on your strengths. You will hear people, motivational speakers, tell you focus on your weakness, do something you cannot do, but it is wrong. No matter how much you focus on your weakness, it will always be your weakness. Imagine on a scale of 1 to 10, and your weakness is say 3. No matter how much you work on it, at most you get to maybe a 5 or a 6, which is still average. But if you are a 6 or a 7, once you work on it, it gives you, if your strength is a 6 or a 7, you work on it, you can add 2 or 3, and then you are the best. No matter how much I train my voice, I cannot sing. Singing is my weakness. Some of you, if you hear me sing right now, you will almost think I am useless. So singing is not my strength. It will be a waste of time for me to say that I am focusing on singing. It will cause pain to me and cause pain to my hearers. While I love song, while I love singing, I know that singing is not my strength. And so I am not going to build any singing ministry. I may mentor people who sing, I may help people who sing, but as long as it lies with me, singing is not my strength. So some of you, you have to take your time to actually discover what your strengths are. I know very well that my strength is in speaking and teaching. I bring complex ideas and I make them simple. I think in patterns and I can recognize patterns and explain it to other people. I know that is my strength. I know that I can speak. I know I can write. I know I can make things common to people. So that is my strength. The wisdom in this now is that if my potential is to speak, I have to invest in it, focus on it, and make it the best that it could possibly be. One of the strengths I know I don't have, and I am trying. I would not say it because it's a funny thing, but it is important you know that if you want to maximize your potential, focus on your strengths and not your weakness. And then the second thing is that write out your plan. We'll talk about this. We'll explain writing out your plan and creating your plan when we talk about habits and goals. But if you want to maximize your potential, write out your plan. Then number 3, create a growth environment. One of the reasons why I created Evolve was to help other people grow. Evolve is not my way of making name or fame for myself, but I want to create a growth environment that when people are on the journey of growth, they will not be sad or they will not feel lonely, because I know for sure that this journey of growth can be very lonely. There is something we call the in between, where you are not where you used to be, but you are also not where you want to be. It's called the in between. You are in between who you used to be and where you want to be. And that in between can be very, very lonely, because you do not resonate with your old friends. And the new friends you want to make as well, they are not welcoming you into their circle, because you have not ascended, or you have not created that integrity to belong with them. And it can be very, very lonely if you are in this in between, where you are not your former version and you are also not your best version yet. And so Evolve for me is also an environment of growth, so that people can maximize their potential. Trust me when I tell you, compared to what we are going to do as Evolve, we have not even started yet. It was just this Sunday that Evolve was 1 year old. We are coming with momentum and we are coming with force. And we are going to create that growth environment that anyone who wants to grow, anyone who wants to be better, anyone who wants to count, make impact, can find a conducive environment in Evolve. Because you see, it's not everywhere that every plant can grow. We don't grow apple in Africa because the climate and the weather is not conducive enough for apple to grow. There are certain fruits that don't grow here in Africa because the environment and the condition does not help it. Last year, a friend told me, he said that environment is more important than potential. And it resonated with me so much that I spent a lot of time thinking about it. That some of you, the only reason why it seems as though you don't have potential is because you are in the wrong environment. The only reason why it looks as though you are not succeeding and you are not making it is because you are in the wrong environment. Not all environment is conducive for growth. And so, if you want to maximize your potential, it is very, very important that you find yourself in a growth conducive environment. I will talk more about environment when we talk about the 15 or the laws of growth, because environment is one of the laws. And then the third key, sowing seeds that benefit others. How do you sow seeds that benefit others? Develop a generous spirit. You don't lack what you give. When the Bible said givers never lack, what it meant to say is that you don't lack what you give. You only lack what you hoard, what you don't give. I don't think that because you are giving in one area, it will translate to you not lacking in another area. If you give your time, you will not lack time. If you give money, you will not lack money.
Pastor, whatever.
If you give value, you will not lack value. You only lack what you don't give, but you would never lack what you give. And so it is important that you develop a generous spirit. Like I said earlier, that you don't remember people for what they had. If I ask you 100 years ago who was the richest man, you don't know, and it doesn't matter who the richest man is. But if I ask you 100 years ago who was the most impactful person, you will think of names like Napoleon Hill, Andrew Carnegie. You will think of names like Del Nightingale. Like, you have names 50 years ago, you will think of names like Jim Rohn, you think of names like Evan Roberts, and all these names, because you remember people by what they add, not what they have. If someone can write it down, and it is very important. If you want to make impact, you are not making impact by what you have, but rather by what you add. And so if you want to succeed, you have to sow seeds that benefit others. You develop a generous spirit, Place others on top of your agenda. Make someone more important than yourself. The most selfish thing you can do as a human being is to live a selfless life. It is very selfish because it is the most rewarding thing. And then the last one, add value to someone every day. When we started the introduction, I made it clear to you guys that, guys, the reason why I am doing Evolve and I am teaching and I'm doing this for free is not because I want you to think I am intelligent. It's not because I want you to think that Winner is reading. No. But I know for sure that in order for me to maximize my potential and to succeed, I have to put others on my agenda. I have to be conscious about adding value to someone. So make it as part of your plans that I have to add value to people, because that is the only way I can be remembered. I told someone to write, nobody writes it, that you are not remembered for what you have, by what you add. Please, I wish Abigail was doing it yesterday. Anytime I said something, she
I have
wrote
written
it
it.
down. You've added it to the page? No, write it on the chat, like write it in the chat. Do we understand everything I have shared with you so far? We have not gotten anywhere. I'm surprised I have. We this is the first topic. We are now talking about success. We've not spoken about vision. We've not spoken about habits. Wow, we are in for a long night. But if this is all you hear and you leave the call, I want to believe that your life cannot be the same again. Because what I am teaching you are principles. I'm not teaching you tactics. I'm not even telling you what to do. I'm teaching you time-tested principles. Principles that when you look through all the scriptures, you are going to find them again and again. These are principles. Earlier today, I was speaking with Ben, and I told Ben that there are three ways to teach. You can either, the lowest form of teaching is teaching people what to do. The second way to teach people is to teach people principle. There are some people that their messages, anytime you watch a Miles Monroe video, it is as though the man died close to 10 or 20, over 10 years ago. But sometimes I go online, I see some of his videos, and the things he's teaching still applies today because he taught principles. And what I've been teaching you over the course of this week has been principles. I'm not really telling you what you should do, but I'm giving you principles that you can apply anywhere, anytime. So this is how I know that success is for everyone. If you can implement all these things I have told you, it's just a matter of time. You will be celebrated as one of the most successful people in our time and in our age. I want to ask you these three questions. Also, backing how you can discover your purpose and how you can make impact in this world. How do you see yourself making an impact in the world? Ask yourself this question. Genuinely sit down and ask yourself, how do I see myself making impact in the world? I see myself making impact by what I am doing. If I do this all the days of my life, I am okay because I am adding value to people. I am helping someone make life simple and more enjoyable. It is sad that I can do this, and even if I am not paid, I know I have lived a good life. So how do you see yourself adding or making impact in the world? The second thing is there something that makes your heart sing? Is there something that makes your heart cry? If you see people on the streets, does it sadden you? If you see orphans, if you see people who are not able to fend for themselves, does it make your heart cry? Then you know that there is something in that for you. God is laying something on your heart for you to do. So these are more questions, because you can only know yourself by the questions you ask yourself. So these are more questions to enable you succeed. But after this call, you should not have any excuse why you cannot succeed in this world, because I have given you the simplest formula to make your life count and to succeed in the world. Now I want to talk about goals. I want to talk about habits, and then we will talk about the fear, and then I'll be out of your way. This statement, if you can screenshot it or if you can write it, it is very important. Your life goals are reached. Did someone want to say something before I transition? Are you all okay? Are you learning? Are you picking up what I'm letting down? Let me get your feedbacks, please. I'm tired of asking you people to give me feedback. If what I'm saying is making sense, don't wait for me to ask you to give you feedback. Just drop the comments, drop this thing. Don't wait for me to ask you to give me feedback. I was listening to the previous videos we did, and I realized I was asking people to give you feedback as if I'm begging you to tell me if you are learning. So give me feedback. You can write in the chat. My chat is open. So once you drop something, I will see it. So please give me the feedback. Anyways, let's continue. Your life goals are reached by setting annual goals. And annual goals are reached by setting monthly goals. Monthly goals are reached by setting weekly or daily goals. And daily or weekly goals are reached by doing things which may be uncomfortable at first, but eventually become habits. And habits are powerful things. Mine 3 years ago, I read somewhere that when you are, what qualifies you to have PhD in any subject is to have read 52 books on that subject. What it means is that, say, if you want to have a PhD in, what example can I use? PhD in finances or money.
Nursing.
Come again.
Nursing.
Nursing. Okay, you want to have a PhD in nursing. It is required that you should read 52 books on nursing to qualify. Like, the information you have practically is equivalent to reading 52 books. That is what the knowledge requirement for having a PhD is. So I concluded that if I want to have PhD in finances, it means that I have to read at least 52 books on money or finances. Then I can have a PhD. I may not be certified, but I have the knowledge of someone who has a PhD in that topic. So if I want to be equivalent to someone who has PhD in, say, marriage, I have to read 52 books on marriage to have the knowledge equivalent of someone that has PhD. And it's cuts across any field, whether it is engineering, whether it is medicine, whether it is any field. The knowledge requirement is equivalent to reading 52 books. So I concluded that at least, even if I don't go for any professional training, I can decide to read the books that would give me a PhD level knowledge in any field I am interested in. Then I decided that, okay, now I am going to be a reader, so that when I sit down across someone who has PhD, it will be as though I went to the school they went to. But just by merely reading and gathering knowledge, I can have that conversation with that person. And so I set myself on a reading journey. We just finished January last week. And in January alone, I am proud to say I've read 3 books. I read Unscripted, I read The 15 Laws of Growth again, and just yesterday I finished one book I was reading, Gonzo Capitalism. And I currently have started another book by the guy that wrote Mastery, the guy that wrote The 48 Laws of Power, Robert Greene. He has a book, Mastery, and that is the book I'm currently reading, on top of other things I am doing. And I've read 3 books. Last year, I think last year I read, if I'm not lying, And if I'm being modest and honest, I read close to 25 or 27 books last year alone. And my target was to read 35. So I was short of 10. I'm not saying this to brag or to show off or to, no, I'm saying this to make you understand that if you want to reach your life goals, now that I have made it clear to you that you can succeed and success is for everyone, I am trying to tell you how to get to the stage where you can say that you are adding to other people and you are living out your life and your vision. And you can only get there through the goals you set. Because the only way you know you are making progress is when you know that you are meeting your weekly goals, your monthly goals, and your yearly goals. That is how, because when anything that you cannot measure, you cannot count, you have to be able to measure your growth. You have to be able to tell that, okay, between 2021 and 2025, this is how much I have grown. And this is what this I've grown in this area, I have grown in this area. And you can only tell that by the goals you are setting. So your life goals are reached by setting annual goals. Every one of you should have goals for the year. It could be by reading, it could be the number of videos you watch about money, or the number of videos you watch about personal development, the number of seminars you want to attend. Have annual goals, have monthly goals, have daily goals. Just earlier today, I was telling my cousin that this year, I have set a covenant with myself and with God that there are certain things that I will do every single day. Whether I am sick, whether I am, no matter what, I will do them every single day. And it doesn't have to be pleasant. I don't have to enjoy it. You see, you will be able to tell your propensity and your potential for success by how you can enjoy boring things. If you want to be excited by everything you do, you will not go far in life. Take it from me. Take it as a prophecy for you. If you want to enjoy everything you do, you will not go far. But your ability to even if it is boring, even if you don't enjoy it, your ability to endure will say more about who you are as a person than anything else. Because one of the things you will realize is that most of the things that success requires are boring things and things that on a normal you would not want to do, but you have to be able to do it consistently or again and again and again, whether you are getting feedback or not. You have to come to the point where you enjoy being bored. You have to be comfortable with the discomfort. If you want to enjoy every single thing you do, believe me when I tell you, you will not go far in life. And so that you should have that at the back of your mind when you are setting goals. Because it will require you to do things that are boring. You know, one of the most boring things you can do, and it is true, is read the Bible. Because sometimes I can be reading the Bible, and believe me when I tell you, I'd rather watch a movie or watch a video that will stimulate me or do something else. Because sometimes I can be reading the Bible and man, but your ability to do the boring things is what would differentiate. You know, Michael Phelps, his name, the best swimmer in the world. I may not pronounce his name well, but you can search him up. I was watching an interview of Vusi. Vusi said he met him. He went to a conference where he met him in person. And then he asked him, what, because he's the whole world on record, that man single-handedly has won more gold medals than anybody in the entire known universe. He has more gold than anyone else. And so Vusi was said that he asked him, why is he that successful? How has he been able to dominate the world of Olympus and swimming like that? And he said that there was a season in his life for about 7 years. Listen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. Every single day he was swimming. No weekends off, no holidays, whether it is Christmas, whether it is birthday, whether he's sick, whether he's not sick. Every single day for 7 years straight, he was swimming. How many of us can genuinely say that we want to develop, we want to have that that level of dedication? Where do you know what it means to be swimming every day for 7 years non-stop? Whether you like it, whether you enjoy it, whether, and then he said that, you see, he said that the first principle about success and impact is, I wrote it down. He said that the first one is, let me just refer to it because it is very important. Be willing to go longer than anyone else. Be willing to go longer than anyone else. And then number 2, be ready to take more pain than anyone else. And so I don't know what your purpose in life is. I don't know what your goals in life are. But in order for you to dominate and to achieve them, be longer to go longer than anyone and be willing to bear more pain than anyone else. So this is very important. Another question. Tonight is a series of questions we are asking, and it will pain me for you not to ask yourself those questions. Can you see where you are going? Sit down. I told you yesterday that where your mind has not been, you can never enter. You only enter rooms that your mind has gone. If your mind has not gone into your tomorrow, you cannot enter that tomorrow. Because your mind is your tour guide. It tells you how to enter those places. So you first have to enter with that. You see, this is why it is important to develop a very healthy mindset. Can you see where you are going in life? I'm not asking you what conditions you are in today, because your current conditions are not your true definition. If you can see where you are going in life, I can guarantee you that it's just a matter of time. You will get where you are going. So develop a vision for yourself, because you don't live for where you are, you live for where you are going. I'm saying it again. You don't live for where you are, you live for where you are going. So if you can see where you are going, then you start living for where you are going. We'll talk about it some other time. What did I say here? I said, if you don't know where you are going, how will you get there? If you can't see yourself 10 years from now, how do you imagine getting there? That is also why, if you have not done the self-identity audit, do it. Do the self-identity audit, because you have to know where you are. The first thing, when someone calls you and the person is lost, say you are giving direction to someone to come to your house, and the person is lost, the first thing you ask the person is, where are you? Because if you know where the person is, you can navigate the person to get to where you are. So if you don't know where you are currently in life on your journey, that is also why you have to be able to measure your growth. So set your goals. What goal setting does is not necessarily because you have to let people know you have goals, but it creates a standard for you in life. Like I told last year, I set the goal that I wanted to read 35 books, and I read like 27 or 20. I don't really remember the exact number. But what setting goals for you does is that it sets a standard, so that when you are repenting, you know where you are repenting to. That is why it is important that you have goals, so that when you fall short of them, say you say that by the end of the year, I want to save 2,000 Ghana cedis. When you end the year and you realize that you have not saved up to that 2,000 Ghana cedis, now when you are repenting and are saying, I will do better, you know what you are repenting to. So bear in mind, guys, that it is important that you set goals and set good ones at that. My assignment for you is that set your 100, I have 100 goals I want to accomplish in life, and Evolve is just one of my goals. Evolve, the mastermind group, is one of my goals. I have goals about doing cross-country biking. I want that someday I would just sit on moto and travel maybe from Ghana to somewhere, just cross-country, just on the motorbike. It is one of my goals. It may seem silly to you, but it's just something I want to do, that I will cross-country bike or move from border to border on a motorbike. It's silly, but it's one of my goals. So set 100 goals that you want to accomplish, no matter how silly it is. One of the goals I have is that I want to buy a pickup truck and then put speakers on it that I can be using to do evangelism. So maybe when I'm driving to a place and I'm stuck in traffic, I'll just pick the microphone and I'll be preaching because I have speakers on my car. It may seem silly to you, but it is my goal. Another goal, and anyways, so have 100 goals. One of the goals I have is that one of the people whom I had a goal a few years ago. I had a goal that I wanted to meet Apostle Joshua Selman, and by the grace of God, I've met him twice, not once, twice. As silly, as impossible as it was the day I wrote it, it happened. That I remember vividly. Another goal I have to do with him is that my goal is that he will not just become a mentor or someone I love and appreciate. He will become my friend, that I can pick the phone and tell you I'm going to call Apostle Joshua Selman, and I will call him and he'll pick up and he'll be like, Winner, how are you? That is one of my goals I have. So you see, I have serious goals, I have silly goals as well. But just make sure that you have set 100 goals you want to accomplish. It matters. Don't think whether you have the means to make it happen or not. That is irrelevant. If it is a desire and it is in you, write it down, because it helps. It helps when, like I said, if you don't know where you are, you will not know how to get to where you want to be. So it's an assignment I'm giving you. Whether you do it or you don't do it, it is your own cup of tea. But I hope you do it. And the truth is, once you start setting those goals, when you get to maybe 20, 30 goals, you realize that you are out of things to write. Maybe your goal is to someday drive a Lamborghini. Write it down. I have my car I want to drive. Write it down. I have places I want to go. They are part of my goals. I will not share them with you, but I have my 100 goals I want to accomplish before I die. The ball is in your court. How do you set goals? Hey, Jesus Christ, we have so much to do. Are you guys learning something? I hope I'm not just ranting. I'm not just shouting. It's late in my area by now. I'm sure my neighbors have heard everything I have to. They know me by my voice right now because I'm shouting. But I hope you guys are learning. I hope I'm not wasting your time. All right, how do you set goals? First, decide exactly what you want in a specific area and write it down. One of the things I want in terms of when it comes to Evolve is that I want this thing I am teaching to be taught across churches, across businesses. I want Evolve to be something that every single person is attaining to. So write it down clearly in details, make it measurable and specific, right? You see, any goal that is not written down is just an imagination. It is not a goal if it is not written down. You are just imagining. The difference between a vision and something you are imagining is when you write it down. And so sit down and write your goals down. Don't just say, I know it in my head. Write them down, because there is, scientifically speaking and spiritually speaking, but I would only talk about the scientific one first. There is something that happens neurologically between your hand and your brain when you are writing your goals down. So make sure that you are writing your goals down. Make it measurable and make it specific. Number 2, set a deadline for the achievement of your goals. If it is a large goal, break it down into smaller parts. Set sub deadlines. Like I've told you that every day I have at least a number of pages I want to read. Those are the goals I have. That is how I've broken it down. Every day I have a number of podcasts or a minute or some minutes of podcast I want to expose myself to. The third thing to do is step 3, make a list of everything that you would do to achieve these goals. As you think of new items, add them to your list until it is complete. Whatever your goals are, there is a breakdown on how to meet your goals. You have your goals, you have your plan, and I think you have your task. So break them down into smaller tasks that you'll be doing every day. See, most people underestimate what they can do in a year, and they overestimate what they can do in a month. If you can actually break your goals down within a year, it will amaze you what you will be able to do. So break them down. Step 4, organize your list of action steps into a plan. A plan is organized on the basis of 2 elements: priorities and sequence. Priorities and sequence. See, this thing about goal setting is a whole topic on its own. And maybe one of these days I would actually organize a seminar. And by the way, news for you is that this Evolve Mastermind thing we are doing, this is the last time it is free. Because one of the things I was reflecting on yesterday is that, you see, because we are doing this thing for free, people are not valuing it. And value that is not valued would not be valuable. I see people who are approaching this lackadaisical. It's like they are trying to do winner a favor by joining, by paying attention and things like that. And sometimes I genuinely feel sad in my spirit, because these things I am giving you are things people pay for. And yet people are approaching it. I mean, the self-identity audit yesterday, I told you guys that I had to pay money to get access to that. And in this world where everybody is chasing money, people are not giving things for free anymore. And I am spending my own data, I've sat down, created the slides, the level of intentionality, excellence, the organization, and everything that is going in Zoom. We are on Zoom. And you know that Zoom, you have to pay. If you don't pay, you only get 45 minutes. And yet still, I'm giving these things for free. And so this is the last, for your own sake and for the sake of the things you are learning, this is the last time this mastermind group is going to be free. And so enjoy it while it is free. And for those of you that are taking it seriously, I bless God for your lives. God will bless you. If you are not taking it seriously, well, nothing I can say or do. Anyways, let's continue. All right, so the 5th step is identify, and it is very important, the obstacles or limitations that might hold you back from achieving your goals. A lot of the time we just set New Year's resolution, but it is also important to know what will stop you. If you know it is your social media that is going to stop you from achieving your goals, you have to now sit down and ask, how can I make social media work for me? How can I make my phone work for me? both in situation within yourself or without. Ask yourself, why have I not achieved this goal already? One of the things I realized last year were preventing me from achieving my goals was fear. So I took time to really understood the reasons behind why I was afraid. And my research, my prayer, my asking was what bettered the dichotomy of fear, friend or foe, where I looked at whether fear is a good thing or a bad thing. So I identified that my biggest obstacle is fear. My second biggest obstacle is small thinking. When you think small, not having audacity, it keeps you away from your goals. So I realized that those were my two biggest things that were preventing me from meeting or achieving my goals. So I did something about it. I really understood the origin of fear for myself and why fear is keeping me where it is keeping me. So I'm that book is going to really bless you, and we'll talk a bit about it today, just a portion of it will be out of your way. And then number 6, while you have determined your goal, or yes, once you have determined your goal, develop your plan and identify your major obstacle. Immediately take action towards or take action of some kind towards the achievement of the goal. Step out in faith. Do the first thing that comes to mind, but do something immediately to start the process of goal attainment moving forward. Whatever your goals are, do something. Take the smallest step. Doesn't have to be the big one. Take the tiniest step you can take. It could be that if your goal is to read a book, the first step you have to take is to have the book. So maybe you don't have the book you want to read. Get it. That is the first thing. You get it and let it lie down. Put it somewhere that it will always be staring in your face. For instance, for I don't know how long, I don't remember. Okay, I think recently, except for the fact that I had to make a phone call, I don't really remember the last time I went into the washroom with my phone. I have 2 books on my washroom this thing, and I've been doing this for like 3 years now. I always, anytime I'm sitting on the loo for 30 minutes or more, I'm just sitting there and I'm reading for 3 years now. And also part of the reasons why I was able to finish reading the 15 irrefutable laws of growth in 1 month. But that book was always in the washroom. I never brought that book anywhere else. It was always in the washroom. And so immediately I entered, I was sitting on there and I was reading. I was taking notes. I was there with a pen. So if there are thoughts I wanted to write down, I wrote them down. Do something immediately that helps you attain your goal. Do you understand? Are we together? So for habits, I wish I could talk about habit, but I feel as though I have already spoken about habits through the daily things, and so I'll not spend much time there. But your life is literally the manifestations of your habits. Most people give up on their New Year's resolutions within a year. I said it on Monday that 80%, statistically speaking, 80% of people who set New Year's resolutions have already given up on them. Some people don't even know where their New Year's resolutions are. And it is not their fault. It's just that they don't know how. Guys, if you really capture what I am teaching and you understand, by the end of the year, you will keep going back to this mastermind group and you thank God for giving you access to join. What is a habit? They are behaviors and activities that are so deeply wired into your brain that you perform them almost automatically. You see, one of the things you understand about your brain and your mind, or your brain, scientifically speaking, is that your brain is wired to make you survive. And so your brain is not really wired to is wired to make you survive in the sense that it wants to conserve energy. But when you are thinking, your brain actually really consumes a lot more of the energy. they have research has discovered that the weight of your stomach is the same as the weight of your brain. Your stomach, the sac that you eat into, is the same as the weight of your brain, scientifically speaking. Sorry. And one of the implications of this is that it says that you are what you eat. And so what you eat into your stomach influences your brain activities. Another implication of it is that the energy you get into your stomach also goes into your brain activities. That is why that is also why it is very difficult for people to think, because thinking actually requires a lot of energy. It requires a lot of energy to actually think. And by thinking, I'm not just talking about mere exposure, I'm thinking about pondering, decision making, and processing information. It is actually very, very energy consuming. And your brain does not want to consume energy in doing things over and over again. So your brain follows what we call the path of least resistance. Your brain is always looking for shortcuts to get what it wants. And what your brain wants the most is dopamine. That is how come people can they know it is bad. They know it is bad for them to spend 3 hours, 4 hours, 6, 7 hours on social media. And yes, because their brain is giving them dopamine, it's feeding them that energy, that chemical. They can spend the whole day and they are just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. And yet they know it is bad for them. So what I'm trying to practically say is that your mind or your brain is not performed, it's not optimized to help you live life. It is just looking for the shortest way to consume energy. That is how come your brain forms habits. It's just looking for to make things automatic and not really spend time trying to figure things out. That is why, especially when you go to a place, you enter a place afresh, you will notice almost you are just looking around. You are looking because your brain is trying to recognize what is there. But over a season, you can enter a room and you don't even care what is in the room. There are some things that may be there, but you have not noticed because your brain has relegated that thing to a background noise. That is how you form habits. And so when you do things over and over, when you expose things to your brain over and over and over again, what you are doing is that you are creating habits. You are solidifying certain things. Do you understand this? Yes, let's go on. There are 3 models that studies how brain is formed. There is the SBC model, the ABC model, and the CCRR model. The SBC model is stimulus, behavior, consequences. First, something happens in your life that stimulates a thought or feeling. Second, a response. You behave in a particular way. Third, as a result, you experience a certain consequences. If you repeat this process often enough, you develop a new habit. So the stimulus behavior consequences. This is the one model that you form habits. The second model is antecedent behavior consequence model, the ABC model. What psychologists have discovered is that the antecedent is what happened in the past. Stimulus is only 15% or stimulates only 50% of your behavior. Fully 80%, 85% of your behaviors are motivated by what you expect to happen in the future, by the anticipated consequences. I told you, was it yesterday, that expectation is what motivates behavior. What you expect to happen is what influences what happens. When you take your phone and you expect to be stimulated by the things you will see and the excitement you will get, that is also the reason behind scrolling. People have discovered that scientifically people scroll because they don't know what might be next. And so you are anticipating that you will find a video that will stimulate you. And so your brain is telling you that, okay, the next thing you scroll will satisfy you. The next thing, so the social media algorithm has been built on this expectation consequences model or expectation behavior model, because you are anticipating that something exciting will happen when I scroll. So you realize that people keep scrolling because They are expecting something new, something exciting to happen to them. That is how habits are formed. I have spoken. So the CCRR model is cue, craving, routine, and then reward. You will get better understanding of this when you read Atomic Habits by James Clear. This cue, craving, routine, reward is from James Clear. So please pay attention to it and read that book. In fact, add it to one of the books you read this year because it will greatly help you. How do you break a bad habit? Manage your stress. I've realized that when I am stressed, I fall into very bad habits. And so my conscious desire to manage my bad habits. One of my bad habits is just eating. I can eat almost anything when I'm stressed. And it's bad, I know. So manage your stress because stress is the reason behind. I know people who masturbate when they are stressed because they feel it is a form of relief for them. So, or they watch porn. So manage your stress. Know what stresses you and regulate it. The second thing is know your weaknesses, know your cues, know what is bad for you. If you are addicted to sugar, don't even bring it to your house in the first place. Change the focus. Then better reasons to quit. Give yourself more reasons why you have to quit that bad habit. Willpower is not enough. This is where system comes in. Because willpower is like any muscle. The more you exercise it, the more tired you become. And there is a scientific data backing this. So you can read on it that the more you use willpower, the more tired you become. And it is from that, the marshmallow test. So please read it. And then pose a question. Pose a question. What that means is that when you are going to start a bad habit or you are doing something that is not helping you, start to question, why am I doing this to myself? Why do I go on social media? Will I get the feedback I want? Will it help me? Will it help me attain my goals? Will it take me where I want to be? Once you pose questions behind the habit you are forming, it gives you more reason why you would want to quit. And then how to form new habits. Number one, change your identity. Change who you are. Don't just say I read or I am trying to be a reader. Change your identity to be someone who reads, because habits stem from identity. Your brain will always want to see itself how you see yourself. So if you see yourself to be a reader, your brain will automatically make sure it creates environments around you where you are reading. So change your identity. Make a decision that you are going to change. Never allow an exception. If you have decided that every single day I'm going to read, make sure you are reading and make your habits easy. One of the reasons why I have a book in my washroom is because I want to make it easy for me to read. Visualize yourself doing them. Make it obvious. Let it be everywhere you are. And then resolve to persist. One of the difficult things to do is to persist in creating new habits. And then the most rewarding thing is give yourself a reward. Every night after I do this teaching, I try to do something to reward myself. It's yesterday, what I did for myself is I bought malt and I put it in the fridge. Immediately I finished teaching, I rewarded myself by drinking the malt. So I'm rewarding myself for what I have done. No, none of you is giving me money. So I am rewarding myself by drinking malt, because then your brain is like, okay, when you do something difficult, something that you could not do, you are rewarding it. I hope it helps you. If it doesn't help you, and then form a pledge, have a pledge for yourself that I made this pledge 4 years ago when I decided to read every single day. I vow that you write your name. Make this vow that after today, you write today's date. I will commit to this set of habits every day until the day I die or Jesus comes to meet me. So make sure that this is a covenant. Actually, as long as I am alive, this one thing I will always do. It's either I do this till the day I die or Jesus comes to meet me. It is up to you. Okay, so are you all here? I hope I have not lost you. Have you learned something today? I have Theophilus, I have Zane, I have MZ, Portia, and I have Ben, I have Lucky. Are you all, did you learn something? Hello? Why is no one speaking? Am I just the only one on the call? Theophilus, Lucky, Zane, you are not talking. Hello? Okay. All right. I I am going to call it quits here. Tomorrow what we'll do is that we'll continue from tomorrow. We'll look at the dichotomy of fear. And then secondly, what we also do
Okay.
is that we would either meet, we would have finished everything tomorrow, or I'll record it and I'll put it on YouTube. The rest I'll put it on YouTube. And so this, I believe this today has been enough learning for you. You can watch the videos again. I'll upload them this evening, and so by tomorrow morning it should be uploaded. What the only thing I want to ask each and every one of you, Theophilus, Lucky, Zane, Portia is not in the group, but Portia, you can send it to Ben and Benjamin. I want you to write more like what you have learned over the past 2 days on the page, so that you would, I'm not asking you to do this because I want you to do this so that you will, if truly you are getting value from the things you are learning, what your testimony will do is that it will help those that are, should I join? Will I learn something? Will it help me? It will help them. What we are trying to do is that we are trying to help people. We are trying to make certain things that caused us pain plain to them. And so, my only request I am asking from you guys tonight is that write what you have learned on the page this evening before you sleep. Write something, what we said that stood out for you, and then how you think you are going to make it work in your own life, and then put it on the page so that it can challenge the others to also know either to watch it or to join. Because, like I said, my satisfaction is knowing that the things that you are learning is going to make you live an effective life, so that you look back at your life and you will say that, Father, thank you that on this day I learned this. I learned about habits. I learned about goal setting. I learned about having a vision. I learned what it means to have purpose. Just write something. And Portia, write what you have learned. I would want to know how this is helping you. So please write it or send it to Ben, or take my number from Ben and send it to me. It is up to you. And let's put it on the page so that it will help the others. Thank you so much once again. I appreciate you. If you, now is the good time for you to ask your questions. If you have your questions, let me have them. Or you are good. Theophilus, any question? Lucky, Zane, any question? If you have your question, I would love to have them. If not, I want to release you guys so that you can.
Hello, please. I have a question.
Sure, Lucky.
All right. Before I would like to thank you for this opportunity for making this time to add value to our lives. Okay, and share with us what you have deliberately sacrificed your time for. God bless you so much. My question is, there are a lot of people that have dreams. There are a lot of people that have plans. There are a lot of people that have visions of what to do in life, but they just can't figure how to do it or how to go about it. You see, so with such a person, what do you think the person have to do? But there are people with dreams, there are people with aspirations, but how to go about it is the issue. Believe me, they might have the idea, but the issue is that maybe they just need a little push just to manifest or just to activate that plan. But they don't have it. And so you realize that eventually that idea will die because that person just doesn't know how to go about it in order to make it work. I believe the question is clear.
Yes, the question is clear.
All right. Thank you.
Last year, I I had we'll be doing a conference. I am still praying to God for clarity. Would I do it this year, some part of this year, or we'll do it next year? I don't know yet, but the title of the conference will be Pioneering a Vision. How to execute your ideas, how to pioneer your vision, because it is very difficult. The question you have asked is a very, very important and a very, very difficult question, because most people that I read, most people who are into personal development, people who have vision, who have dreams, they have a lot, and it is at most they write it in their books, because we have not learned how to turn our ideas into either services or products, or to implement them, to pioneer them. If you are one of those people that you have ideas, you have what you want to do, but you don't know how to go about it, I think the most important thing about ideas is to start where you are. And I can use myself as an example. I had idea about Evolve. How it will come, I don't know. How to start, I don't know. I guess started by saying, okay, let's do a mastermind. Let me just organize people I know. And most of you are people I know. Let me just start. And the more you start, no matter what your vision, whether it is a business, whatever it is, start where you are. Once you start, you realize that you gain clarity. Okay, this is working, this is not working. Earlier today, I was telling you I'd had a conversation with Ben. One of the things I realized is not helping with Evolve is because Evolve is free. And so it is not helping Evolve. That is why I said this mastermind is the last free event I am going to do, because I've realized that I am not helping people by giving it to them for free. So start where you are. Once you are starting and once you are taking the steps, clarity will come. Okay, let me do it this way. This did not work. This work. Let me change it. Let me have it this way. So the more you are doing, you realize you are learning from your mistakes. Another key is don't be afraid to start small. Yesterday I said that don't be afraid to start small. Wherever you are, you can say that, okay, I have a business. I want to build a $1 billion dollars business, and I only have myself and my WhatsApp status to start with. Start there. Don't be afraid to start. Whatever your dreams are, whatever your goals are, start where you are. And the thing about people pushing you, see, people will not push your dreams. People only push you when you don't, people support you when you don't need it. The time you need their support, they will not be anywhere to be found. And that is okay. So start where you are and don't be afraid to start. I think those are the two principles that has really, really helped me in implementing the things. When I wrote the book Evolve: The Journey of Becoming, it was an idea. Something I sat down, I was like, if I met myself 10 years ago, what are the things I would tell myself? This is why I wrote this book, because my journey since I left SHS, it's been 10 years. And you know me from the village. You are someone who you grew up with me in the village. So you know the village we grew up from. So after I left the village and how God has helped me, I decided, okay, if I'm to meet myself in the village again, what are the things I would tell myself? That is what Bethed Evolve: The Journey of Becoming. Personal development, reading, spending time, changing my mind, changing. That is it. So start where you are and don't be afraid to start small. Like I said, it is a conference I have in mind, because I want to bring together people who have been able to pioneer things, to do things in various fields, whether it is in fashion, whether it is in ministry. Bring them and then sit them down and then ask them, how did you go about what you did? And then we can take their keys and then apply them in our lives. So yeah, that is how I would go about it. First, I will start, and then I'll not be afraid to start small. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, please. Thank you very
Awesome.
much.
You're welcome, brother. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. All right, then. So please, again, like I said, I want you to make a post on the page, the 2 days or the 3 days, the things you have learned, how this has helped you, so that you will challenge the others to also do something about the information we are giving them. Father, in the name of Jesus, I thank you for everyone who has joined today, those that are going to watch or have watched again on YouTube. I pray that whatever question they have, you answer it by your spirit. Give them clarity so that they can live the best lives and maximize their potential as you have given them. That when they bear fruit, they will glorify you and you will reward them for their labor and their sacrifice. In Jesus' mighty name, I have prayed. Amen.